All right, good morning. One more sip of coffee. Before we begin, I wasn't going to talk about this today, but I was having a conversation with somebody in my DMs. I slid into their DMs after they followed me. And if you follow me, I will do the same. I will message you. And if I don't, call me out on it because I will be the one to message you personally so we can start a conversation. Recently, someone asked, why are you so inquisitive? Are you trying to sell me on something? Sure, I have things to sell you, but I will have provided all the value I can for you and have you come to a point where you ask me to help you. That is the goal with everything that I do, including these videos, my podcast, what we do inside the Hidden Summit group, all of the documents, the videos that we make, the workouts, things along the way, the challenges. I want you to want to work with me, and that's what I'm going to do. Promise. That's it. So shoot me a message. And while you're here, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can keep watching these videos as I post them every Monday through Friday. And if you prefer to listen to them, they're also on Spotify. Anyway, I was talking with somebody this morning and I asked them why, and I probably will ask you the same thing. Why do you follow me? Why did you come here? Which one of my posts brought you here? And he was like, look, I just needed some inspiration. I'm experiencing burnout and I lack inspiration. And I figured if I wanted to surround myself with somebody that was doing the work every single day, that I would be more likely to show up and do the work. And I was like, cool, awesome. I'm glad you're here. I will continue to do that. Then I asked him, what are you experiencing burnout with? Where are you lacking this inspiration, this motivation to keep going? And he said, it's just burnout. Like anyone experiences burnout. I'm trying to do too much and I don't feel like I'm ever doing enough. So I paused and first I asked him, has anyone else ever told you that you're not doing enough? He was like, no. I was like, okay. So our thoughts just get in our way, right? He's like, yeah, my thoughts just get in my way all the time. And maybe you feel the same way. You feel like you're not doing enough or people are saying one thing about you, but the truth is if they haven't told it to you, it doesn't fucking matter. So I want to help you on the other end of it so we don't ever have to feel that way. And what we did is draw this amazing line that's going to tell us so much information. And I asked him, can I explain to you my theory on burnout and how we can avoid it? Most of the time, I don't want to say always because I don't want to speak in absolutes, but if we can better help ourselves experience less burnout, that would be better for you, right? Stick with me here. Yeah, so we have a scale. These lines are going infinitely in other directions, right? But what we want to do is know on one side, we're going to have effort. So I put an E for effort. And on the other side, we're going to have rest. Okay. Burnout is going to be on the effort side and rest is going to be on the other side. Now, for those of you who are experiencing burnout, it's probably like putting a lot of effort into a lot of different things, which means how do we find effort and how do we find rest? Because if you're experiencing burnout, odds are that you're not like resting enough, probably not taking a break enough. So what I do with this scale is I draw this continuum from left to right and right to left to create this amazing art. My drawing skills are on point. And I just label this focus. Are we focusing on one or are we focusing on the other? If we have this intense focus in a number of different things, so your workouts, you have your food, you have your business, you have your relationships, you have your studies, you have everything going in one direction all the time. What's going to happen is, if we're driving a car, right, and I got to drive from South Florida all the way up to New York, if I don't put gas in my car one time, odds are that I'm probably not going to make it. And the truth is that I can get out of the car and I can push the car, or I could just walk and leave the car. But none of those end games, none of those final decisions and pushing the car or walking beside the car or leaving the car behind are ideal. So why is it that when we are driving to a destination and we are giving it all the gas, we recognize that we are going to have this be on empty before we get there. So we stop, we take a break, we refuel, and we keep going. I want you to understand that life, you, is the same way. So if you're experiencing full focus on effort all the time in every area of your life, we're probably going to need a moment of two and rest. Now that rest can be a little bit of rest, It could be a vacation. It could be somewhere in between. But the truth is that no one ever told you what I'm going to tell you right now. And that is that you can afford yourself a break every so often and you can get more work done. Why? Because you want to fill your own cup. And as cheesy as that sounds, and I can't draw a cup, look at that cup. You want to put the good into the cup first. And sometimes that's work, and sometimes that's rest, and sometimes that's relationships, and sometimes that's taking a break, and sometimes that's going to the gym, and sometimes that's meditation, and sometimes that's getting 7 hours of sleep, and sometimes that's working all night. But if we just always put into the cup the effort and the intense side of things, we're not going to be able to slow ourselves down and actually be our best selves in those moments. So what I said to this gentleman on Instagram this morning was, look, dude, if you're feeling burnout, are you going to be your best self? He goes, no. So what if we focused on giving ourselves a walk around the block, 10 minutes of actually breathing and reading some thoughts? I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying just shut it down at 5 o'clock and not work anymore. I'm not saying go on a week vacation because you had a tough day. What I am saying is that we need to balance that intense focus and effort and that intense rest. Rest can be intense too. I just did a meditation this morning for 10 minutes. I felt like I got nothing done. But when I looked back on it via my Whoop, my heart rate dropped, my stress went down, and I was able to think more clearly thereafter. So it's a simple concept today. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but on this scale, again, I'll draw it when we have effort on one side and rest on the other side. If you're putting everything on this intense effort side and nothing on this intense rest side, we want to know what our capacity is. And the way we know our capacity is by giving ourselves a little bit of rest. So I'll draw it this way now. Like if you were all over here on the effort side and you are not doing any rest, I just want you to give yourself a break. 5 minutes. See what that does for your brain, right? And then turn that 5 minutes into 10 minutes and that 10 minutes into actually going on vacation and still working one day when you feel like you deserve it. But we have to work on both sides of the spectrum. Otherwise, we're going to experience that burnout and you're burning the candle from both ends. And I say this because I do this. It's easier to explain this to you than to put it into practice real time, but this helps me do it as well. So nothing crazy today. It was just like a little talk on intensity versus rest and actually painting a picture of you of me driving from Florida to New York and not filling up the car and then me pushing my car the rest of the way. Doesn't make sense. So if you are experiencing burnout and you notice the signs of not being able to focus or not being yourself or doing work half-assed or not to the standards of your life, take a minute, like literally take 1 minute and clear your head so you can go back in, feel better, and not feel as burnt out later on. That's all I have to say to you guys today. Come back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again.